You've spent your entire life believing you are your thoughts. But what if I told you that's the biggest lie you've ever been told? Your thoughts aren't who you are. They're just echoes of your mind. And today, I'm going to show you the undeniable proof that will forever change how you see yourself. Stay with me because, by the end of this video, you'll unlock a new level of freedom and self-awareness that you didn't even know was possible. 1. The endless stream of thoughts. Have you ever felt trapped by your own mind? From the second you wake up, your thoughts are already racing. What should I do today? Did I say the wrong thing yesterday? What if something goes wrong tomorrow? It's like a never-ending loop pulling you in 100 different directions, and no matter how much you try to quiet it, the voice just keeps going. But here's the big question. If you're the one thinking these thoughts, then why can't you control them? That constant chatter in your head, it's not really you. Think about it. If you can hear the voice in your head, then who is the one listening? This simple realization can change everything. Imagine your mind as a radio station, constantly broadcasting noise. Just because the radio is playing doesn't mean you're the song. You're the one hearing it. This is the first step to understanding the truth. You are not the endless stream of thoughts that flows through your mind. You're the awareness behind it. When you begin to see this, you'll realize that you don't have to engage with every single thought. You can let them pass, just like clouds in the sky. And suddenly, the mental noise that once controlled you starts to lose its power. 2. Thoughts are just mental events. Let's take a step back and look at your thoughts for what they really are. Fleeting, temporary events created by your brain. They come and go, influenced by your surroundings, emotions, and even random memories. But here's the thing. Most of us live as if every single thought is a reflection of who we are. Imagine standing on a hill, watching cars drive by on the road below. Some cars are fast and shiny, others are old and slow. Each one is different, but none of them are you. Your thoughts are just like those cars. They appear in your mind, stay for a while, and then move on. But here's the mistake we make. Instead of watching the cars pass, we jump inside one and let it take us wherever it wants to go. Maybe a thought pops up like, I'm not good enough, or what if I fail? Instead of letting it pass, we hold on to it, replay it, and let it shape how we feel about ourselves. But the truth is, these thoughts are not you. They're mental events, just like a breeze blowing past or a wave crashing on the shore. And the best part? You don't have to chase every wave. You can just watch them come and go. When you stop identifying with every thought, you take back your power. You start to see that your mind is just a tool that you can use, but one that doesn't define you. 3. The proof. You are not your thoughts. Here's where it all comes together. Let me give you the undeniable proof that you are not your thoughts. If you were truly your thoughts, then you wouldn't be able to observe them. But you can. Right now, try this. Close your eyes for a moment and listen to your mind. What do you hear? Maybe it's a thought like, this is silly, or I don't have time for this. Or maybe it's something random, like remembering what you ate for breakfast. But here's the key. Who is hearing those thoughts? It's not the thought itself, it's you, the observer. The part of you that notices the thoughts is separate from them. If you can observe your thoughts, then by definition, you cannot be them. Think of it like this. You're watching a movie on a screen. The characters, the story, the emotions, they all play out in front of you. But you're not the screen, and you're not the movie. You're the one sitting in the seat watching it unfold. This is exactly how your mind works. Your thoughts are the movie, and you're the silent observer in the audience. The moment you understand this, everything shifts. You realize that you don't have to be swept away by every negative thought, every worry, or every self-criticism. You can step back and simply observe. And in that space of observation, you find freedom, you find peace. 4. How to separate yourself from your thoughts. Now that you know you're not your thoughts, the next question is, how do you stop identifying with them? The answer lies in a simple but powerful practice: mindfulness. Mindfulness is the act of stepping back and observing your mind without judgment. Here's an exercise to try. The next time a negative thought pops up, maybe something like, "I'll never be successful," pause for a moment. Instead of believing it or fighting it, simply say to yourself, "There's that thought again." Notice it, observe it, and then let it go, like a leaf floating down a stream. The more you practice this, the more you'll realize that thoughts only have power over you when you engage with them. When you stop feeding them with your attention, they lose their grip. And in that space, you'll discover a deeper sense of self, one that's not tied to the constant chatter of the mind. Mindfulness isn't about silencing your thoughts completely. It's about creating space between you and them. And in that space, you'll find clarity, peace, and a freedom you never thought possible. 5. The true you beyond thoughts. If you're not your thoughts, then who are you? This is the big question, and the answer is both simple and profound. You are the awareness behind the thoughts, the silent observer, the part of you that exists beyond the mind. Think of it this way. Your thoughts are like waves on the surface of the ocean. They rise and fall, constantly in motion. But deep beneath the surface, the ocean is calm, still, and vast. That's the real you, the stillness beneath the noise. When you connect with this deeper part of yourself, everything changes. You stop being controlled by the ups and downs of your mind. You find a sense of peace that isn't dependent on what's happening around you. And most importantly, you realize that you are so much more than the stories your mind tells you. This realization isn't just liberating, it's life-changing. It allows you to live from a place of true freedom, where you're no longer a prisoner of your thoughts, but the master of your mind. 6. The role of conditioning in your thoughts. Have you ever wondered why certain thoughts seem to repeat endlessly? Why they carry so much weight even when they're not helpful? The answer lies in conditioning. From the moment you were born, your mind has been shaped by your environment, your family, culture, experiences, and even the media you consume. These influences create patterns in your mind, shaping the way you think and view yourself. For example, if you grew up hearing phrases like, "You're not good enough," or "success is for other people," those words can stick with you. Over time, they transform into beliefs, and those beliefs feed your thoughts. Suddenly, it's not just a passing idea, it feels like the truth. But here's the key. These thoughts are not facts, they're just echoes of past experiences. And the moment you recognize this, you begin to reclaim your power. You're no longer bound by the stories that were handed to you. You can question them, challenge them, and ultimately rewrite them. Breaking free from conditioning starts with awareness. When you notice a negative or limiting thought, ask yourself, where did this come from? Is it really true? Often you'll find that it's just a leftover piece of someone else's story, and when you let it go, you create space for new, empowering thoughts to take its place. 7. The trap of over-identification with thoughts. One of the biggest traps we fall into is over-identifying with our thoughts. We don't just have thoughts, we become them. If a thought says, "I'm a failure," we feel like a failure. If a thought says, "No one likes me," we believe we're unworthy. But here's the truth. Your thoughts are not who you are. Imagine you're watching a play, and one of the actors steps forward and says, "I'm worthless." Do you suddenly believe that actor's words are about you? Of course not. You recognize it as part of the story. Your thoughts are the same. They're just stories your mind tells you. The problem is we don't treat them like stories. We treat them like reality. And that's where the suffering begins. But when you start to see thoughts as separate from yourself, as temporary, fleeting pieces of mental activity, you break free from their grip. This doesn't mean ignoring your thoughts or pretending they don't exist. It means observing them with curiosity and compassion. When a thought arises, instead of reacting to it, pause and say, "That's interesting. Where did that come from?" This simple shift can transform the way you relate to your mind and give you the freedom to choose which thoughts to believe and which to let go. 8. The science behind your inner dialogue. Let's dive into the science for a moment. Neuroscience has shown that the brain is wired to think in patterns. These patterns are like well-trodden paths in a forest. The more you think a certain thought, the easier it becomes to think it again. This is why negative thinking can feel so automatic. It's like your brain is stuck on a loop. But here's the good news. Your brain is not fixed. It's incredibly adaptable, thanks to something called neuroplasticity. This means you can rewire your brain by creating new thought patterns. Every time you choose to challenge a negative thought or focus on a positive one, you're literally reshaping your brain. Think of it like planting seeds. Each positive or empowering thought you focus on is a seed that grows stronger over time. And as you nurture these new thoughts, the old negative patterns start to fade. The science is clear. You have the power to change the way your mind works. All it takes is awareness and practice. 9. The power of presence. One of the most powerful tools for breaking free from your thoughts is presence. Presence means being fully in the moment without being pulled into the past or the future. When you're present, your thoughts lose their hold on you because they thrive on time, on replaying the past or worrying about the future. Have you ever had a moment where you were completely immersed in something? A beautiful sunset, a piece of music, or even a heartfelt conversation? In those moments, your mind goes quiet. You're not caught up in thinking, you're simply being. That's the power of presence. The more you practice being present, the more you'll notice the gap between you and your thoughts. You'll realize that your mind can't control you unless you let it. Presence is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And with time, it becomes your natural state of being. 10. Living beyond the mind. So, what does it mean to live beyond the mind? It doesn't mean shutting off your thoughts completely. That's impossible. Instead, it means seeing your thoughts for what they are. Tools. Tools that you can use when needed, but ones that don't define you. Living beyond the mind means embracing your true self, the awareness behind the thoughts. It's about stepping into a place of stillness and peace, where you're no longer reacting to every thought and emotion that arises. It's a state of freedom, where you're in control of your mind rather than being controlled by it. This doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey, a practice. But every step you take brings you closer to the truth of who you are. And the more you connect with that truth, the more you'll realize that you are not your thoughts. You are so much more than that. Living beyond the mind doesn't mean escaping reality. It means engaging with it fully, from a place of clarity and peace. It means living a life that's aligned with your true self, rather than being driven by the noise of the mind. And once you experience this, you'll never look at your thoughts the same way again. As we wrap up, remember this: you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that observes them. And with this understanding, you can live with more clarity, peace, and freedom than ever before. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on more content like this. I'd also love to hear your thoughts. What's one realization you had while watching this? Drop it in the comments below and let's start a conversation. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.